Kentucky and the job that you think he'll do with the Buccaneers as OC.
Yeah, I mean, it was an awesome opportunity to learn under Coach Cohen. Really taught me a lot, especially from an NFL standpoint, being able to see it at the most elite level. And I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are getting a really good one. I know he's going to bring, his expertise, his mastermind of an offensive brain, and I'm really excited to see what he does with them.
Was that a team that you met with either formally or informally?
Informally, a little bit, but not formally, no, sir.
Devin, were you surprised he went back to the NFL?
Honestly, a little bit. But opportunities come up sometimes, and there's some that you can't necessarily turn down. I know he still has a lot of love for Kentucky, but it did take me by surprise.
What are you hoping to prove this week after a season that maybe didn't go all the way you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that I could spin the rock with anyone. I mean, that's always been my memo. I'm a confident guy, confident in my ability to throw the ball with anyone in the country, and I look to put it on display this weekend.
What can you say about two of your Kentucky teammates, and Ray Davis and Trevin Wallace, both entering the NFL?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to be able to see those guys here walking around the convention center, but at the same time being able to see them ball out when their number is called. You saw Trevin last night, did a great job, helped himself, and Ray's going to do the same thing. So it's just really cool to be able to be a part of that and be able to play with teammates like that.
How does your experience at the Shrine Bowl kind of help prepare you for being here and then, going forward?
Yes, sir. Definitely the interview part. Being able to actually informally meet with a lot of teams, being able to get face-to-face with them, and honestly get on the board too. Being able to actually talk football, X's and O's, and really just show my expertise to the game.
What was the influence of Liam Cohen like in your game, having an NFL coordinator come back to Kentucky and work with you?
Yes, sir. It was huge. Definitely a lot different from what I was used to in the past. But being able to, operate in that NFL pro-style system, learn from him from a, verbal standpoint, and really just learning from his terminology as well. So overall, it helped me develop to a quarterback of where I am today.
So when you set a guy in motion, what are you looking for from the defense? What are you staring at?
Yes, sir. So usually a man zone tail, depending if we're starting in an empty formation or getting to a 3-by-1 or 2-by-2. A lot of it is man zone, being able to see who bumps with the motion or carries with them.
So NFL, we're seeing a little more compressed formations. Particularly 49ers kind of ran that all the way to the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
What does it mean to you to have your wideouts only about 20 yards apart, really tight in there? What does that open up in your game?
Yeah, a lot more space, being able to put the ball on the perimeter, and that's what I love to do. The more space you have on the field, the more you can exploit a defense, and I think you see that more and more in the NFL with these condensed formations.
Any questions this week that took you by surprise?
Honestly, no, sir.
What's your cheat day meal?
Cheat day?
Cheat day meal.
Man, I'm a big Cane's guy. I like Cane's, got to get the extra sauce, too.
Like how many tenders we talking?
Just your basic 4 tenders. Yeah, just keep it easy. Nah, just 4.
Devin, how do you assess your year at Kentucky overall?
Yes, sir. Ultimately from a production standpoint, I could have done a lot better. Wasn't necessarily what I set out to do. But overall, from a developmental standpoint and honestly taking a leap of faith of transferring, learning a new system, getting around a whole bunch of different guys and overcoming a pretty severe injury, I'm blessed to be here. I really am, and I know my best football is still in front of me. But ultimately, to develop as a quarterback, I'm very thankful for my time at Kentucky.
How much of you had to think about that fourth quarter in the Gator Bowl since it happened, or do you just put that out of your mind?
Definitely out of my mind, yes, sir.
Devin, what's it been like the last couple of years to see your brother Donovan as a Division I football player, and what advice maybe have you given him?
It's been awesome. I mean, the quarterback journey is different from every position, and he's kind of going through it right now. So for me to kind of go through my own trials and tribulations, I've been able to give a lot of feedback to him. He's going from a redshirt guy that's been on scout team to now competing for a starting job. For me, I just continue to preach to him. It's all about the process. It's not about where you're at right now. It's not about where you stand on one spring practice. It's about, how you approach yourself every single day. So it's a blessing to be able to give that back to him.
What stood out about how he's handled that process, just in your conversations with him?
Man, he's mature. He's a lot more mature than I was when I was a true freshman. He understands that, everything doesn't just happen at once. He was very grateful to learn from Tommy DeVito his true freshman year. Last year, he was able to learn from Luke Altmaier. And, honestly, he's just embracing it all. He's ready to get after it this spring. He's got a shot to compete for the starting job, so I'm really excited for him.
Hey, Devin, have you taken the S2 cognitive test?
Yes, sir.
And what do you make of that?
I thought it was pretty difficult. Just the different types of tests that they, give us, from, pattern tests to different recognition of, different trends throughout the whole test. But overall, I think it is pretty valuable.
Could you tell that, like, boy, this would kind of separate people or make teams kind of take notice?
That's hard for me to say because I didn't receive my scores back or anything. But I could definitely see where the pattern recognition can come into play.
Devin, playing under Liam Cohen, what would you say his best attributes are as a coach?
Yeah, I would just say, honestly, his mastermind in the film room and the way that he could just get up and draw plays that he's been thinking about all week that could help against a defense. I think that's really impressive when you sit in a film room and actually watch him get up on the board. And that was my biggest takeaway, learning from him.
Have you had any formal meetings with teams yet?
No, sir.
Devin, who's next in Kentucky? Who are we going to be talking about next year?
Man, I think they brought in a really talented quarterback in Brock Vandergriff. We saw a little bit of him last year in action. And, Cutter Boley is a young guy that is there as well. I know those guys are going to be competing, but, I'm excited to see what Brock can do. I know he's a very talented player, and I know he's in good hands at Kentucky.
It felt like the receivers, it took them a while to get going last year. How did you see them grow throughout the season?
Yeah, definitely. I just think it takes time. It would have been a lot. We wanted it to be a lot earlier than what it was. As you see, our offense started to click later in the season. But I just think that comes with repetition. Those guys were constantly rotating around, playing, X, Z, and F in a brand new system that some of those guys didn't really play in. And it's not the most simple system when it comes to a college football player, especially young guys like Dane and Barryon. It's pretty complex, but at the end of the day, it just comes with reps.
Their new coordinator has talked about that simplify for our college.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that's important for them moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's important for them to play fast. I really do. When it comes to a developmental and an NFL standpoint, I think the system we were in is as good as it gets. But when it comes to, like Coach is kind of referring to, if you want your guys to not think much and play fast, simplicity is the best way to go.
Was there pressure coming in, having to follow Will Levis last season?
No, sir. I know Will did his thing at Kentucky, and he kind of set the standard following up as the, quarterback at a great university. But for me, I try to create my own lane. I want to be the best possible player that I could be.
What do you hope to prove this week? What are you trying to show teams?
Speed, versatility, football IQ, knowledge of the game, and ultimately just enjoy the process, have fun.
How do you think playing in the pro-style offenses have kind of helped you when you're having meetings with teams?
I think it helps a lot. A lot of the teams that you meet with, they do run some version of a pro-style offense, whether it's the same as Coach Cohen's or different, but it helps with your processing, allows you to think differently, hearing play calls in the huddle, being able to line up, hear long sentences, stuff like that. But, the past 2 years have really helped me in this process.
Were you surprised that he went back to the NFL?
I'm not surprised, he has to make a decision that's best for him and his family. Opportunity like that, I feel like you can't pass up on. OC in college and OC in the NFL, it's completely different. He's got an opportunity to reconnect with a quarterback he played with. I'm happy for him, wishing him the best in this next season.
How would you just describe your 2 seasons at Kentucky?
They were fun. I enjoyed them. A little different than my last school I was at. Went through some adversity, learned how to handle it. Seen both sides, the good side, the bad side, but you learn from those. And at the end of the day, I had fun. I enjoyed it. I was grateful for Coach Stoops giving me the opportunity to come there and play for him.
Did you see the wide receiver room kind of take steps forward in the second half of the season last year?
Definitely. First half, I would say, it was just an adjusting curve. New system, new quarterback. We're all trying to get our chemistry down. And towards the back end, Dane played tremendous. Barryon played tremendous. A lot of the guys in the running back room started playing better. We just played better as offense. We were starting to find our identity a little bit.
Did you get to interact with Coach Shorts much before you left? And what do you think a different voice in that room?
I did. Leading to the bowl game, he came, introduced himself. He talked a little bit, kind of tell everybody his background, philosophy. He's a cool guy. He's real cool. Luckily they got him for another year. I wish I had him, but it was cool meeting him in the short time I did.
As a receiver, how difficult is it to come in and try to create chemistry with a new quarterback?
It's really just a 1-2, in the off season. Getting together, throwing, watching film together, kind of understanding how he thinks, how he processes things, so y'all can be on the same page. But when I came in with Will, we kind of hit it off early, in the summer. And the same thing with Dev, and I think it showed at times during the seasons.
Tayvion, Liam Cohen is now the new offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers. What can you say about what the Buccaneers are getting and your encounters with Liam?
They're getting a very smart guy. He knows the game. He knows how to put points on the board. He knows how to get the ball to his playmakers. I think he's learned from a great head coach himself, and Coach McVay. But he's young, energetic. Everything you would want as a coach, as an OC, as a leader. So again, wishing him the best.
What would it be like to reunite with him? And have you met with the Buccaneers?
I haven't yet, but it'll be pretty cool, having to play with him in college and then get an opportunity to play with him again in the NFL in the same offense. So you never know.
Do you have a meeting scheduled with Tampa Bay at all?
Not that I know of.
Tayvion, have you had any formal meetings this week?
Excuse me?
Any formal meetings this week?
No, sir.
Tayvion, you guys have played Alabama. Tayvion Arnold's known for a little bit of smack talk. Did you hear any of that, or did you see any of that when they were?
Not me personally, but Tayvion Arnold's a good player. He's one of the better DBs I've seen all year, and good luck to him this week as well too.
Ray, he stole some passes from y'all throughout the year. What do you think his ability to catch the ball? How do you think they can help him at the next level?
Big time. You've seen how it helped us during the season, and having a running back who's that effective in the run game and also adds another element to the pass game, it just makes it harder to defend, makes him harder to stop, and he had a year.
We saw you line up in the backfield a few times 2 years ago, especially. Are you telling teams that's something you can do if needed?
Just shows my versatility. That's kind of what I say. And I'm dynamic versatility. I've done a little bit of everything in college. And I was kind of playing in Coach Scangarello's offense the year before.
What do you think when people say Kentucky's just a basketball school?
Turn on the tape, watch TV. Coach Stoops has built an amazing program and amazing culture in his time there. And these past couple of years, it's like last 5, Kentucky's been on the rise. And, I say it's pretty balanced. Still great at basketball, and it's becoming a very great football school as well.
Tayvion, their new coordinator has talked about still running a pro style, but maybe simplifying a little more for college players. Do you think that's important for them to play faster and do those things? That maybe
in a way, it can. When you got less to hear or less to think about, you play faster. But at the same time, you said just keeping a little bit of a pro style offense, I think helps guys transition to that next level.
Tayvion, who's next at Kentucky? Who are you most excited to see take the next step next year?
The receiver room. Those guys I played with last year, and some of the guys I played with the year before. Dane and Barryon, got to play with them for 2 years. Guys like Anthony Brown. Excited for that whole receiver room. Want to see them have a successful year.
And then who's the top